Okay, so let's move on. As I was just talking about, Al Pacino, and even in that piece, talked about um, not playing Han Solo, and that's a fascinating thought because can you imagine Han Solo with Al Pacino playing it? It's one of those what ifs, right? So this comes from Variety. And once again, this is almost the same article I just read. I'm going to go through most of it though because I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. So, Al Pacino passed on a trip taking or passing to take a trip to a galaxy far, far away. During a talk on Wednesday at the 92nd Y in New York, which we established, the Oscar winner recalled being offered the role for Han Solo in Star Wars. Well, I turned down Star Wars. When I first came up, I was the new kid on the block. You know, what happens when you become famous. It's like, give it to Al. They give me Queen Elizabeth to play, Pacino said. They gave me a script called Star Wars. They offered me so much money, I don't understand it. I read it, so I said I couldn't do it. I gave it Harrison Ford a career. Of course, he was kidding about. Pacino also recently said that he watched The Godfather. Excuse me, guys. Pacino said he recently rewatched The Godfather after not seeing it for 25 years. While shooting the Mafia classic, Pacino and Francis Ford Coppola asked to meet him one night after filming at a restaurant where the director was having dinner with his family. I came in and he said, "You know, I had a lot of faith in you and you're failing me," Pacino said. I'm standing there thinking, what the fuck do I do now? Go to Paramount, Coppola told him. After watching his footage, Pacino understood the problem. In the film's early scenes, the studio hadn't realized his internal journey into Michael Corleone. I wanted to come out of nowhere and by the end of the film create some sort of enigma, he said. His transition is what interests me, and I thought I wasn't able to save it. After the first day of shooting, Diane Keaton and I got drunk. We thought, well, this is it. Our careers are over. What kept him in the film? The Salazzo scene, where Michael shoots the cop. Coppola pushed that up because he thought Paramount was about ready to fire me, Pacino said. I do the scene, they liked it, and they kept me in because I shot someone. That story, Pacino revealed, will open his upcoming memoir, which he reportedly sold to Penguin Press last year. He also said that not only half of the offer, the Paramount series about the making of The Godfather, was true. On Scarface, his most gratifying film, he said, Pacino recalled one of his many injuries. You can't imagine what it's like to be there, he said, in one of the heavily armored shoots. The smoke. Every day you have to put yourself into a trance. One day we're shooting, fighting. Say hello to my little friend. I shoot 30 rounds. I get hit. The gun goes down, and I'm supposed to be wounded. I go to pick up the guns, and my hand's on the barrel. My hand stuck to it, and I had to go to the hospital. I was out for 2 weeks, covered in fake blood in the emergency room. The nurse mistook him for some sort of scumbag. I was gone, he described, but they shot the shit out of me. They shot so much while I was away. Spielberg came down and had a crack at shooting someone. Everyone wanted to do it. On Heat, one of my absolute favorite films, by the way. He offered some candid advice to Pacino fans. Here's the thing with Heat. I hope you see it again, audience. I was playing this cop and I found a way in. But this is a detective who was kind of wild. I thought, he's probably chipped cocaine. That will explain to you some of my. He laughed and said, that will explain there was no cocaine sniffing in the film, but I definitely was. All in all, Pacino said some of his best acting came from Lee Strasberg, the legendary founder of the acting studio. Do you know what he called out acting talent? Pacino asked the audience. He said, talent is like a cement block that you walk on the sidewalk, and there's a green blade of grass peeking up through the cracks. Ever see that? That's talent. What's next? Pacino said he will soon turn his focus to King Lear, which I made mention of earlier. While the Michael Redford directed adaptation was originally announced in 2018, Pacino said that he and writer Bernard Rose are, quote, coming to a place where we have a script, end quote, and will likely start to shoot next year. So let's talk about this. I think the fact that, so Metal, you've never seen The Godfather? Really? Wow. Well, you're in for a treat. You are in for an absolute treat. I wish I could say that. Okay. Here's my homework to you, Metal. You need to. It's quite a long movie, so you're going to have to carve some time out. But you need to sit down. Any of them. Okay. So here's my advice to you. Okay. You need to carve out 3 hours. You don't have to do it all in one day, but you need to carve out like 3 hours. And you need to sit down and just watch The Godfather and let it go. The first time you see it, you're gonna be like, whoa. Let it just absorb over you. Then go watch The Godfather Part 2. Okay. And then you can eventually go on so The Godfather Part 3 is like this, the redheaded stepchild of the trilogy, but it's still not bad. It's been years since I've seen it. Then go watch that one. But seriously, it's one of the top 5, top 7 films ever made. And I mean, I'm talking like Casablanca, Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind. You need to sit down because it's an incredible movie. There is one scene, and you'll know it when you see it. It's just unbelievable. But yeah, so okay, yeah, definitely. I want you to come back and let me know, what. And by the way, try to do it all in one sitting. I know it's going to be slow, and it may seem slow, but there are moments when it picks up. I promise. But yeah, no, that's wow. Congratulations. I'm so actually that movie was it just turned 50 last year, so you're not missing that. So you've got a lot of time to see it. But Al Pacino is I couldn't imagine Al Pacino playing Han Solo. I just couldn't for anything because of the fact that he has so much charisma. I mean, it's one of those things where I would have loved to have seen, and we'll get to it. But I think it's definitely a thing that I don't know if I could see now. Who knows? It would have been fascinating. But I'll say this much. When you hear about the stories about Star Wars, like Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford actually had a relationship during Empire. Okay. I wonder if because you could tell their chemistry was just top notch. I wonder if that would have been, I mean, he still talks about Carrie very, very fondly today. So it's just fascinating to see. Anyways, guys, what do you think? Do you think you could have seen Al Pacino playing Han Solo? Never tell me the odds. Do you think he could have pulled that off? Anyways, leave your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to everybody.